Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the WWE Draft. A lot of excitement coming out of SummerSlam, as it should be for Raw and SmackDown. A lot of changes coming our way for Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, as now Monday Night Raw will have the number overall pick, and they get to pick first. They'll go Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, and go from there. Now, to go over the quick rules of the WWE Draft, it is simple. Everybody is up for grabs. That means every person from Raw, NXT, and SmackDown are up for grabs. Every champion is up for grabs. Every team is up for grabs. And even if the general managers that are out here want to change things up, they can split up the groups if they would like to. William Regal, the Raw general manager, is here for his brand, but tonight I will be representing Adam Pearce from NXT. He's kind of given me a list. I may kind of vary on what he wants to go from, but I will go from his list. And The Undertaker will represent SmackDown, a part of Teddy Long as the SmackDown general manager. But enough of me talking, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get straight into it with the first pick of the WWE Draft. We are going to take it over to the Raw General Manager, William Regal. Regal, take it from here. Well, thank you, Hunter. I do appreciate it. And WWE Universe, are you ready? Because Monday Night Raw is going to be changing, hopefully for the better, with the roster that we draft tonight. But no further ado, Monday Night Raw with the first overall selection picks Seth frickin' Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, for the first selection for NXT, Adam Pearce has done a lot of thinking, and obviously Seth Rollins was on his board, but obviously William Regal doing the right thing and taking him off the board. A little quick thing with myself and Shawn Michaels defeating Drew McIntyre there at the latest pay-per-view. Drew is on NXT, so he's not a part of the drafting process as he's already assigned to NXT. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the first pick for NXT tonight will be your NXT champion, All Ego, Ethan Page. Now, the next superstar that Teddy Long is selecting for SmackDown's first overall draft pick is a man that I've deemed the future of this business, and he showed it live there at SummerSlam by becoming the new undisputed champion and beating Sami Zayn. That is the new undisputed champion, Braun Breaker. For my next pick here on Monday Night Raw selects the new United States Champion, the A-lister, The Miz. For the next pick representing NXT, it will be the NXT North American Champion, Oba Femi, returning to NXT. With the next pick on the SmackDown side of things, Teddy Long has officially drafted the Intercontinental Champion, the big man, Bronson Reed, joins the SmackDown roster. And the next pick for Monday Night Raw, ladies and gentlemen, is the woman that kicked off SummerSlam by defeating Rhea Bloody Ripley for the Women's World Championship and now is known as a double champion here in WWE. It is Rhea Ripley's opponent from SummerSlam. It is Jade Cargill, the Women's World Champion and the Women's Champion. A quick draft note, since Jade Cargill, who is a double champion, and both championships are on Raw and SmackDown, Jade Cargill will still have to defend her Women's Championship on SmackDowns and the SmackDown PLEs. But Jade Cargill is exclusively to Monday Night Raw, and if she were to ever lose a championship, she'll be exclusively to Monday Night Raw. But for the next draft pick part of NXT is a woman that defeated you could say, the queen of all WWE and the winner of the Gold Rush tournament for NXT. She makes a return as it's your NXT Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. With the next draft pick here, a part of the SmackDown roster, Teddy Long has informed me that he wants to draft the team known as the Terror Twins, the ones that got abandoned by Finn Balor and the rest of the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest have joined SmackDown. For the next draft pick, a part of the Monday Night Raw side of things, we select the WWE Hall of Famers, the World Tag Team Champions, the Dudley Boys, here to Monday Night Raw. For NXT's next pick, it is simple. Adam Pearce wants to go with not only the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, but these two women are looking to take over NXT, and certainly they very well could do that. It is the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Roxanne and Cora Jade, being drafted to NXT. For the next pick here on SmackDown, a part of Teddy Long's list here of many superstars, he wants to go with the new WWE Tag Team Champions, Julius and Brutus, but also Ivy Nile, and also it looks like there's another name here, Chad Gable, and this group is called American Made. Now for this next pick, I was thinking this group was going to be already taken off the board and probably would have been drafted back to SmackDown, and I'm surprised they're not, but for some reason, I'm going to draft them up next, as the new Bloodline are being drafted to Monday Night Raw, and that is all of them. The Rock, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tonga Loa, and Solo Sikoa. All of them are coming to Monday Night Raw. It looks like for NXT, currently we're trying to keep it safe and secure for Adam Pearce. It looks like he may have an agenda on how he wants to run this, but for the next draft pick, a part of NXT, the NXT Tag Team Champions and the Dusty Cup winners, Gallus, have been drafted to NXT. This next man knocked off Jey Uso on last Monday Night's Raw to become the new European champion, and all these fans probably know where this is going, as it is your European champion Ilya Dragunov being drafted to SmackDown. This next member that is being drafted over to Monday Night Raw is a man that knows the new bloodline very, very well. He was a part of the OG bloodline, and now he's being drafted Monday Night Raw. It is the OTC, the only tribal chief, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, being drafted to Monday Night Raw. Big names are starting to come off the board, and another big name coming to NXT is the NXT North American Champion Thea Hale, plus Andre Chase of Chase University have been drafted to NXT. For this next superstar that's being drafted over to SmackDown is a man that I respect the most. I knew his dad very, very well, one of the best to ever do it. And there's not much I can say about it. Ever since he joined back to WWE a couple years ago, he has been the best thing that WWE has seen, and that is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, coming to SmackDown. This next woman that I draft over here to Monday Night Raw has accomplished a lot of things in her career, from the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, and most recently winning the NXT Women's Championship a couple months back. You guys are probably going to know where this is going. The Queen Charlotte Flair has been drafted to Monday Nights. For this next draft pick, it is not just one man, but it is several men. A part of this, I guess you could say, from on this paper, it is a new group. The man that turned his back on Dragon Lee in the LWO, and the man that won the NXT Gold Rush tournament live there at NXT Gold Rush. Santos Escobar plus Los Garza, newly named Legado del Fantasma, are coming to NXT. For this next draft pick here on SmackDown, it is going to be a man that is known for being straight edge, a man that is a former NXT champion, he is a former World Heavyweight champion, and very well could be a main event guy or be the guy here on SmackDown. No further ado, CM Punk has been drafted to SmackDown. Now we're going to draft a tag team that we haven't seen here on Raw or SmackDown in a good while. They were down in NXT and actually were tag team champions there for a little bit before losing to Gallus, their NXT Gold Rush, and many of you guys love this tag team as they bring that power of positivity, as the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods have been drafted to Monday Night Raw. Well, for this next draft pick, ladies and gentlemen, it is kind of based off the last draft pick, as it seems like the LWO are going nowhere, as the LWO have been drafted over to NXT. To be quite frank with you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very surprised that this next team is not been drafted off the board yet, but hey, we do need some rivalries, and what better way than bringing all of the Judgment Day live to SmackDown. Well, there goes my Women's Intercontinental Champion off the board, but that's okay. We will just replace her with the Women's United States Champion, Naomi, who retained her championship recently over Bayley there at the SummerSlam PLE. For the next pick here in NXT is a man that showed up recently at the NXT Gold Rush, showing up after Obafemi became the new NXT North American Champion. The next draft pick over to NXT was Omos. Is Omos and Obafemi possibly on the range for a contest? Time's going to tell. This next superstar that is being drafted over to SmackDown had quite a career here on SmackDown, including one of the lengthiest reigns in Intercontinental Championship history here in Universe Mode, and that man is Big E, is coming over to Friday nights. For this next draft pick, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the women's division. And this woman doesn't need much of an introduction, as she is the EST of all WWE, and she came up a bit short at the Queen of the Ring, losing to Jade Cargill. That is, Bianca Belair is being drafted to Monday Night Raw. Well, certainly when I saw Adam Pearce write this name on the list, I wasn't quite sure if this name was still going to be on the board, but at this very moment, it is, and Adam Pearce is going to strike with it right here, right now. For NXT, ladies and gentlemen, NXT is drafting the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura, to NXT. For SmackDown's latest draft pick, it is the man that has accomplished a lot of things in her career so far, and we'll see if 2025 will be a even bigger year for this lady, as it is the man, Becky Lynch, being drafted over here to SmackDown. This next superstar, ladies and gentlemen, personifies being a underdog of the underground, a man that will continue to fight, scratch and claw to be the top guy here in WWE, even if he's beaten down every single week. The man that lost his Undisputed Championship, unfortunately, there live at SummerSlam. Sami Zayn has been drafted to Monday Night Raw. For NXT's next draft pick is a man that is a former WWE Tag Team Champion with Carmelo Hayes. They lost those Tag Team Championships at SummerSlam last night, but it looks like Adam Pearce only once won. And this is Trick Williams being drafted by himself here to NXT. For our next draft picks, a part of SmackDown here, we are adding all of the Kabuki Warriors from Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Asuka have all been drafted, a part of the same group, here to SmackDown. This next superstar being drafted over here to Monday Night Raw is a man that very well could have won the Intercontinental Championship last night at SummerSlam, but I guess you could say interfered with Kevin Owens getting involved and attacking Kevin Owens and Bronson Reed winning the Intercontinental Championship. The next draft pick for Monday Night Raw is the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. For the next draft pick here on NXT is a big tag team that have made some waves over the last couple months, notably feuding with Cody Rhodes and The Miz. It is A-Town Down Under. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller have been drafted to NXT. The next draft pick, a part of SmackDown here tonight, is going to be a man that is currently so far undefeated and has had his hands on Andrade a couple times, walking out undefeated. It is the ever-impressive Lucha Libre style of Zero Miedo. Penta has joined the SmackDown roster. Not gonna lie, I was really hoping Penta would still be up here because I was actually maybe going with him next, but that gives my next choice a man that has turned his back on his friends at SummerSlam, Randy Orton and Sami Zayn. Monday Night Raw selects the prize fighter, Kevin Owens. For NXT's next draft pick is a tag team and a newly formed tag team, forming a bond over a little break that NXT had over the last couple weeks. That is a new tag team called Fatal Attraction. JC Jane and Fallon Henley have been drafted to NXT. Next draft pick here, part of the SmackDown side of things, is a fellow big man, a man that is a former Universal Champion and very well could and possibly would take on the top guys in all of WWE. It is the monster among monsters. Braun Strowman has been drafted to SmackDown. For our next pick here on Monday Night Raw side of things, we are drafting a tag team, a very well-experienced tag team, and guys that could win singles championships, maybe even that World Heavyweight Championship. Our next pick is the tag team of DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and also adding Candice LeRae to Monday Night Raw. Another tag team has formed here in an NXT, and it's in the women's division once again, as it's going to be the team of Gigi Dolan, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tatum Paxley have all been drafted to NXT. For this next draft pick is a man that got his tag team partner drafted earlier on in the night to NXT. It is a man that is a former WWE Tag Team Champion, former NXT Champion briefly here in the series. It is the man that does not miss. Carmelo Hayes has been drafted to SmackDown. To be quite honest with you, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm surprised this next guy who has yeeted all over WWE. He is a former European champion. He is a former multi-time tag team champion here in the series. He doesn't get all the respect that he should, especially in singles action. Main event Jey Uso is coming to Monday Night Raw. For NXT's next draft pick, ladies and gentlemen, it is a tag team known as Fraxium. Nathan Frazier and Axiom, one of the fastest tag teams in all of WWE, have been drafted to NXT. For our next draft pick is a whole stable here in WWE, a stable that looks to lay out the legacy of Bray Wyatt, aka Wyndham. The Wyatt Six have been drafted here to SmackDown. Monday Night Raw's next draft pick is a man that knows not only the new bloodline, but also the OG bloodline very, very well. And he actually knows the previous draft pick of Monday Night Raw, Jey Uso, very well, as it is the brother of Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, No Yeet, has been drafted to Monday Night Raw. For NXT's next draft pick here tonight live, it is going to be the man that kind of interfered and cost Kenny Omega the NXT Championship and helped Ethan Page retain his NXT Championship. Shawn Spears has been drafted to NXT. For our next pick live here on the WWE Draft, is it a tag team that certainly is criminally underrated, and a tag team that certainly, if given the chance, very well could be a top tag team in WWE. Pretty Deadly has been drafted here to SmackDown. For our next draft pick, I'm surprised he's slid all the way down here, as well as his partner, as it is going to be Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium being drafted to Monday Night Raw. For NXT's next draft pick, she is known for her work in Japanese pro wrestling, but now she has been drafted to NXT, and she has been briefly here in NXT before this draft. It is Julia being drafted to NXT. It looks like for our next draft pick, ladies and gentlemen, here on SmackDown, we are going to the tag team division. A tag team that fell up a bit short against Gallus in the Dusty Cup Finals, as we are drafting the War Raiders to SmackDown. For our next draft pick, ladies and gentlemen, this man has been very close. He has been on the upcoming part of WWE. He is so close to being that main event player here in WWE, and I think Monday Night Raw will be the perfect opportunity to expand, as it's going to be L.A. Knight. Yeah, coming to Monday Night Raw. For NXT's next draft pick, ladies and gentlemen, it is another woman that has been briefly here in the series, and a woman that, just like Julia, is well known of her wrestling style, as Stephanie Vaquer is coming to NXT. For our next draft pick, a part of the SmackDown roster is a man that lost his United States Championship live there at Summerslam to The Miz. It is considered one of the greatest of all time. That man is John Cena. For Monday Night Raw's next pick, it is going to be the man that is leading the Final Testament, the man that's very crazy, as it is, if that's a word to say about this lunatic, as Karrion Kross and Scarlett are coming to Monday Night Raw. For NXT's next and latest draft pick, it is going to be the family. The D'Angelo family have been drafted here to NXT. For SmackDown's next pick, a part of the WWE draft, is the Celtic Warrior Sheamus being drafted here to SmackDown. For my final pick into the WWE 2K25 draft, Monday Night Raw selects El Idolo Andrade has been drafted to Monday Night Raw. For NXT's last draft pick tonight, a part of the draft, NXT selects Meta 4, Shakira Jackson, Lash Legend, Noam Dar, and Ora Mensa have been all drafted to NXT. For SmackDown's last draft pick, a part of this WWE draft, it is going to be a tag team that kind of had a back and forth, a tag team for a bit, kind of turned on each other, and they're good friends or not, but we're going to see how this tag team works, as SmackDown is drafting New Catch Republics, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, a part of this WWE draft. And now that the televised version of this WWE draft is over, right here, right now, the superstars that have not been drafted to Raw, NXT, and SmackDown can sign to whatever roster they want to right now. And as we speak, that is happening right now, and you are about to see who signed to Raw, NXT, SmackDown in just a couple seconds. I hope you guys enjoyed this WWE draft. And now, we'd like to thank Triple H for hosting the WWE draft tonight, and from what we've understand, everybody that is currently available has been drafted. You're going to see some superstars coming back later at one time that have not been on our list. We'll talk about that more here in just a minute, but right now, here are your champions on Monday Night Raw. Seth frickin' Rollins, your World Heavyweight Champion. The Miz, your United States Champion. The Dudley Boys being your World Tag Team Champions. Jade Cargill is a double champ, as she's the Women's World Champion and the Women's Champion there on SmackDown. Also, Shayna Baszler has a new partner. Ronda Rousey is no longer here. Zoe Stark was her picked replacement, and Zoe Stark took it to Ronda Rousey just before she left. So Baszler is now teaming up with Zoe Stark, now known as Pure Fusion Collective. Also, new, or I should say the Women's United States Champion who retained over Bayley recently, as Naomi still is your Women's Champion. She is staying here, or she's here on Monday Night Raw now, and she is your United States Champion. So here are your divisions. Stone Cold Steve Austin, he was a part of SmackDown. He is now being drafted. He was a free agent. He is signed to Monday Night Raw. You got Stone Cold, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Kurt Angle, The Rock, Randy Orton, RVD. That's a free agency signing here. As also, you got Karrion Kross, Sami Zayn, and also we're going to the next division over, Miz. So you got Miz, United States Champion. And for these guys that are in these rankings, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be in these rankings. It's just how they are at this moment. You got LA Knight, yeah. We'll see how he fares here on Monday Night Raw. Andrade, Jacob Fatu, Apollo Crews. He is a part of Monday Night Raw. He's a free agent. We'll see if the Street Profits join with him or if he's all by himself. Also a free agency signing, Ashanti the Adonis, being added to the Monday Night Raw roster. And now the tag team division. Some of these tag teams you see here, like Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, they're not a tag team, but it is how it is set up in the system, so we take it how it is. But you got DIY, part of Monday Night Raw, Kofi Kingston and Xavier. You got the new Bloodlines, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. You got Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso. They're not reunited yet. It's just how it is in the system. You got Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. They can work as a tag team. Obviously, Gunther is more the singles individual, but right now, that very well could be a tag team down the road. Also, the Women's World Championship division. You got Bayley. Nia Jax is a free agency signing. She has switched over to Monday Night Raw. Lita and Trish Stratus, they were in NXT before the draft, and now they are on Monday Night Raw. Big signing there. Charlotte Flair being drafted in Monday Night Raw. Bianca Belair being drafted in Monday Night Raw. Natalya, a free agent signing, coming to Monday Night Raw. Big name there just in the terms of experience. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. We've heard that they threw their bitterness away from each other, especially we saw that in NXT, was put to the wayside when Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville turned their back on Piper about a year or so longer back. But Piper has forgiven Chelsea. Both of them have forgiven. They talked it out. They are a tag team here on Monday Night Raw. Also, Candice LeRae being drafted to Monday Night Raw with DIY. And also, it looks like we do have a couple new members of Monday Night Raw. Lyra Valkyria, a young lady coming to Monday Night Raw. That's an absolutely massive name, and I wouldn't be surprised within her first year on the main roster she becomes champion. Also, B-Fab. She is here, and as you could see in the tag team division as well, we did get to see the Street Profits. They are back, and they are with Apollo Crews. B-Fab is a part of that group, ladies and gentlemen. And then we round off the top. Big roster for Monday Night Raw, and now we're going to see what NXT looks like here. Alright, for NXT, ladies and gentlemen, you have the NXT champion, Ethan Page. All Ego Ethan Page is your NXT champion. Obafemi, who defeated Carlito to become the North American champion. He is on NXT. You got Gallus, Mark Coffey, Wolfgang, and Joe Coffey here in NXT. The ever pretty Tiffany Stratton. Here's your NXT Women's Champion. Roxanne and Cora Jade look to take over NXT one step at a time, and they did that with their first step by defeating Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart to do that at NXT Gold Rush. Also, Thea Hale retaining her championship over Blair Davenport as she still stays here on NXT. And we're going to go ahead and look at the divisions here in NXT. Big free agency signing, one of the biggest free agency signings in NXT history, as you're going to see Ricky Saints being drafted to NXT. Also, you got Andre Chase of Chase University. Also, the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre, is here on NXT. Obviously, if you watched NXT Gold Rush and everything that went down, certainly we saw the reason why McIntyre is here on NXT. Javion Evans, here to NXT. He was obviously part of NXT last year. Now a free agent signing here to NXT. Lexis King is a free agency signing. Welcome to NXT. Omos has been drafted. Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, Shawn Spears has been drafted. Shinsuke Nakamura, Trick Williams, Wes Lee has been a part of NXT for quite a long time. He has signed back to NXT. Also, in the NXT North American Championship division, you got Charlie Dempsey, a free agency signing. Ridge Holland, free agent. Brooks Jensen, a free agent. Joe Coffey, you know of. Joe Hendry is a free agency signing, as there is a announced partnership between NXT and TNA here in the series. Eddie Thorpe is a free agency signing. Welcome to NXT. Josh Briggs, he was a part of NXT at one time. He has joined back to NXT. Dragon Lee of the LWO was a part of NXT, and he joins back. Also, you got Fraxium, you got the D'Angelo family, you got Los Garza, now known as Legado del Fantasma, and joining up with Santos Escobar. You got Metaphors Nomdar and Oro Mensa. You got A-Town Down Under. You got the LWO. Certainly some stacked division there. Also, in the women's division, you got Gigi Dolan, we mentioned earlier. Jada Parker, a lot of big names that have been drafted. Jada Parker is a woman to look out for. And then Jakira Jackson, Lash Legend, a tag team here in the series. Lola Vice has that MMA background, and she's going to show it here in the series, I believe. Also, Miss Money in the Bank Nikita Lyons joins back here to NXT. We'll see if she cashes in anytime soon. Shotzi Blackheart, Tatum Paxley, and Zelina Vega all back here in the series. Also, in the women's tag team division, we got Fallon Henley, JC Jane, Elba Fire, and Isla Dawn of the Unholy Union A are here on NXT. Also, some big names here, part of this North American Championship division, is Kalani Jordan, a big name free agent, Wendy Chu, free agent, Solo Ruka, free agent, and Kiana James, a free agent. A lot of young ladies signing here to NXT. And there is the roundup of NXT. A lot of new names, a lot of familiar faces here in NXT. And now we jump over to SmackDown. Now we are on the SmackDown side of things, and let's see how SmackDown rounded up and see if they added anyone a part of the WWE draft. So now we got Braun Breaker, your undisputed WWE champion. Bronson Reed, your Intercontinental champion. You got American Made, the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius. Big tag team name there. We'll see how they fare, especially with Chad Gable joining their group. That's a big shocker, to be honest with you. As you got Jade Cargill, women's champion. She is currently undefeated. She's had a hell of a debut so far here in WWE, has run roughshod through SmackDown and anyone that she has seen, and we'll see if she can continue that in 2025. Also, obviously, Raw and SmackDown have the Women's Tag Team Championships, Pure Fusion Collective here on SmackDown as well. Raquel Rodriguez, the new Women's Intercontinental Champion, by defeating Asuka there at SummerSlam, and Ilya Dragunov, your European Champion here on SmackDown. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You got Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, John Cena, Damian Priest, AJ Styles, and Big E to fill out that title card picture. Also, you got Sheamus, Carmelo. Logan Paul is a free agent. He has joined up with SmackDown. Braun Strowman, Eric Rowan, Chad Gable, and Uncle Howdy. And then you're going to see a couple handful of guys a part of the Judgment Day. AJ Styles is a part of the Judgment Day now. If you guys did not see SummerSlam, you have the War Raiders, the Judgment Day, the Wyatt Six, Pretty Deadly, Judgment Day once again. They are so big of a group, they have multiple guys, and that's what they can do. You got New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, and oh, look at this. This is very interesting. You have Alpha Academy, Akira Tozawa Otis, a part of this group, and Chad Gable, he's going to have some answering to do on why he decided to jump ship and go to American Made. There was no signs of jumping ship, all of a sudden going to American Made, so question may be answered on the next edition of SmackDown. Now for the women's division, a lot of big names, especially here in this women's championship division. Like we said, it doesn't have to maintain the rankings that you're seeing here briefly, but you got Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Io Sky, and Becky Lynch. Part of that division, you got Asuka, Kairi Sane, and then you got Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, a free agent tag team, joining up here on SmackDown. Here on the women's side of things, you're going to have Michelle McCool, free agent, signing here to SmackDown. Ivy Nile, part of American Made. Nikki Cross, a part of the Wyatt Six. You got Dakota Kai, part of the Kabuki Warriors. Michin, a free agency signing. I wonder where her head is now, because she was a part of the OC with AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson, but now there's no club. AJ Styles is on the Judgment Day. How does she fend for herself? We'll find that out here in 2K25. Alexa Bliss, a part of the Wyatt Six. Eve Torres, a free agent signing. And Maxine Dupree, she was a part of Alpha Academy. And also R-Truth, a free agency signing here on SmackDown. And that rounds it up, ladies and gentlemen, for all the SmackDown men and women. I would like to thank all of you that have joined up today for the WWE Draft, and I will leave you with this. This will be the first time ever we are going to have 2 pay-per-views in 4 weeks. One will be on a Saturday, and one will be on a Sunday. Monday Night Raw will have Bash in Berlin, and Bad Blood will be for SmackDown. A first time ever event that we have 2 pay-per-views like that, back to back, at least main roster wise, like that, Bash in Berlin and Bad Blood. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm very excited for WWE 2K25. The rosters have been massive, and certainly a lot of unexpected things are coming your way. I guarantee you that. Once again, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and let's get ready for Monday Night Raw.